You'll recall in the first part of this week's personal transport challenge, we got a bunch of some of Britain's best-known racers and put them on 18 exotic forms of gadget transport.
Yeah, you probably also remember that, unsurprisingly, neither Jace nor I won that because we were beaten by these pesky professionals.
So, for the second part of this week's challenge, which involved just Susie and I, we decided on a more sedate race around the streets of London.
Yeah, we're testing the very latest 3D in-car sat-navs.
These are two of the most cutting-edge bits of tech you can buy to shove in your car. Satellite navigation devices which offer a fantastic 3D representation of the road ahead, with buildings and points of interest standing up from the standard layout, giving what should be a clearer and more intuitive view of where you need to go. But are they any good?
To find out, we'd be going on a rickshaw race across London to visit various landmarks. And the only rule was that we had to follow the routes dictated by our sat-navs. My sat-nav of choice was the brand new Navigon 8110. It's pricey, but it's got a graphics accelerator for super smooth motion and a fantastic lane assist feature, so you're always in the right lane at a junction.
I was using the Navman S53D. It's smaller and cheaper than the Navigon, but a true revelation on the UK sat-nav scene. Using the latest map data, it shows major landmarks in glorious 3D.
Head to
Piccadilly Circus. Starting in Covent Garden, the first leg of our race was to Piccadilly Circus. So we started typing in our destination, and that's when I hit my first problem.
W1V9LB, no matching postcode.
Entering my first destination was easy, and I set off with Jack, my driver, and had a great head start. My Navigon was doing me proud.
straight down this street, please. See it, Jace?
Which is more than can be said for mine. The Navman's database hadn't recognised the postcode, even though it was the actual genuine postcode for Piccadilly Circus tube station, so I had to input the address manually.
OK, we're off.
I eventually set off a good 3 minutes behind Susie.
Go down that way, please.
I wasn't feeling that good about my 3D Navman.
Juan, move it, baby.
Our rickshaw drivers may have known London like the backs of their handlebars, but in this race they could only go where we told them, and we could only go where our sat-navs told us.
Right into Charing Cross Road.
A little bit of a left and then a right at the junction, please, Juan.
And with both of us now out on the road, headed for Piccadilly Circus, we had time to take a closer look at our 3D sat-navs.
It's a nice wide screen, 4.8 inches, very clear. I mean, I've got sun shining on that. We're in Garrick Street, we're going to Cranbourne Street, so it all seems fairly intuitive and simple to use so far.
Yeah, turn right, please, Juan. The screen really isn't bright enough for my liking. Not as much road information on the 3D map as I would possibly get from a 2D view. Not the wealth of street name and road name information that I would have expected to get.
Left at the lights, please.
While Jason moaned, I was going great guns, arriving in Piccadilly in just 15 minutes.
Look at that.
To prove I'd been there, I had to buy a souvenir and take a photo of it. Then it was off to the second destination.
We're off.
And to input that address, I decided to use the Navigon's inbuilt voice recognition,
Trafalgar Square,
which was a mistake.
London.
I was in a noisy place, but the speech recognition just wouldn't work.
Correction.
And Jace had caught me up.
Right-hand lane, Juan. Thank you very much, Skipper. Thanks, Juan. Hi, man. How's it going?
I leapt into action, grabbed the souvenir and photo, and was on to destination 2. The next stage of the race was to get from Piccadilly Circus to Trafalgar Square and take a picture of Nelson on his column. Second time around, using the postcode worked for me.
Straight up there.
Straight up there, yeah.
So let's start the navigation.
And I'd finally got the voice recognition to work, and we set off neck and neck.
Left.
As I approached Trafalgar Square, I was actually starting to appreciate the Navman. To aid navigation, it contains over 1,000 3D representations of landmarks from over 21 countries.
Look, there's Nelson. We're right next to Nelson. Clearly visible in reality and also in 3D. If I zoom in on my screen, you can see him there. Just opposite the National Gallery.
I got there seconds behind Jace and taken my photo too. It was time for the third and final stage.
Juan!
It's neck and neck. I've just seen Jason on the other side of the square. Let's have number 3.
OK.
The finishing line of our race was at the London Eye, and the first one there was in for a treat.
And I'm ready to rock.
And away we go.
We headed off at roughly the same time. It was going to be close, but then disaster. My Navigon didn't update quickly enough and I missed the turn.
Oh, damn it. We should have turned left there. Now, the problem there was it just didn't tell me early enough to ask Jack to turn left.
I was back on track and Jace was just in the lead, but then I had a stroke of luck. Crossing the bridge, Jason's navman ran out of power.
He's run out of power!
His battery had died after just 55 minutes, whereas mine still had loads of life in it.
140 yards, turn left.
That's a flippin' London Eye!
By now I could see the London Eye, but my sat-nav had died and wasn't telling me how to get there. Remember, this was a test of sat-navs, not my sight. I could only get to the eye if my sat-nav led me right there.
My last command was to go over the bridge. What is it, to keep riding until we crash?
20 yards left.
Maybe I could still win after all.
Come on, Jack, pedal as fast as you can. I'm sorry, I know you're knackered.
But as my driver Jack gave me everything, Jason tried an age-old trick.
Right, I'm going to try and turn it off and turn it back on again.
I got enough power for the last 2 instructions.
Top left, so just turn it back on again. London Eye, top left, we just need to go left. It's gone off. But at least I got the command, you saw that.
As I pulled up, I still had no idea if I'd won.
I bet she is here. She'll be hiding, having a cappuccino nonchalantly somewhere.
But there was no sign of Susie. I'd won!
Hang on, there she is. Hooray!
No!
Woo!
My punishment for losing by the smallest of margins was to give my exhausted driver a lift home while Jason got a private champagne tour of the eye.
Cheers, Suze.
Hooray!
But look, these things, I was really excited about getting one, and then I was a bit disappointed.
I agree. I think 3D sat-navs, definitely the next big thing. And I thought that we were already there, because I've been to Japan, driven around Tokyo, and it's proper 3D. It's like a video game. Mine was only about 2% of the buildings were in 3D, the rest were 2D. So quite disappointing. You know, a burgeoning technology, but not there yet.